Back here in the tour shed because the brand new Titleist GT range has dropped. So we have the GT2, 3 and 4 ready for you to try. Let's find out some more features. So some great new features of the new GT range. The head weight is roughly the same, but they've got a new polymer. That means instead of using carbon fiber like a lot of the other brands, they've created their own polymer that sounds exactly like all the old drivers, but allows the head to be slightly lighter so they can redistribute the weight around the head to create a more forgiving driver, but also the drivers are meant to fly higher, spin a little bit less, and give you more ball speed off the face, which ultimately should give us more distance and more consistency. So let's have a look at the different heads. So let's start off GT4. We can see there's now 2 weight positions here. You've got heavier weight at the front and then a slightly lighter one at the back. These can be switched around to make the head either more forgiving or less spinning. Now you've got the GT3, which, you know, a little bit bigger than the 4. That's the head I personally like. It's got the adjustable weight at the front there, so you can set it more towards the toe and the heel. Some slightly more, well, slightly higher spinning than the GT4, but lower spinning than the GT2. And it's a really nice looking head in its simple design. And then you've got the GT2, which tends to be the most popular model, so replaces the TSR2. Just has a weight at the back of the driver, tends to be slightly more forgiving and higher spinning than the other 2 drivers. But let's have a little look what the numbers say. So let's find out some subtle differences in the numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my current TSR3. It's a 9-degree head, and we're going to compare that to the brand new GT3 driver in 9 degrees. We're going to use the same shaft. We're going to see how the numbers change, whether or not I increase any of my ball speeds, and whether my distances and consistency improves. Let's have a little look.
Lost in this cosmic abyss, my mind takes flight. Dark echoes pulsating, setting the stage for the night. Galactic melodies guide me through the unknown. In this abstract hip-hop song, I feel at home.
Cobalt. We have now switched to the GT3 head, 9 degrees. Let's see how the numbers compare.
New jazz rhythms set my soul in cosmic vibration. Deep house beats like stars twinkling in the sky. I reach the depths of my creativity.
Nice. Really long way. So as you saw there, we've hit both drivers, and there's definitely a noticeable difference between the 2. There's definitely a slight increase in ball speed. These are the averages, so there was certainly some higher ones. I normally am about 165 on ball speed. I had a few up in the 170s with the GT, which is fantastic. Launch angle, as I mentioned, the GT range is meant to launch slightly higher and spin slightly less or equivalent. We have got an increase in launch and definitely lower spin, which is fantastic. For me, I tend to spin the ball between 2,500 and 3,000 and launch the ball quite high. I like seeing a high ball flight, whereas that has definitely got a little bit higher, but then span less, which has given me a massive increase in distance. Now, not everyone's going to see this much difference in distance, but that is a very much a noticeable difference. Dispersion stayed pretty much exactly the same. For me, absolutely love the driver. I used the TSR last year, the 3 head, and I love the look of it. This year looks pretty much identical down at the ball. Sounds the same, but feels a little bit more solid. Feels like it's going to be slightly more consistent, and I absolutely loved it. Any increase in my game is certainly a positive. I think you should certainly see whether it's going to improve your game. Hopefully the numbers will be even better out of your game. But let's get you booked in, have a look at the new Titleist GT range. We also have the fairways, and then the hybrids are released next year. The fairways look fantastic, definitely some big differences to be seen there. I look forward to trying those out as well. See you soon.